It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day. And it's Walkabout Wednesday in my backyard garden. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been together. I was on a project last Wednesday, and I'm just so happy to be here in my garden with you all. By way of an update, as you all know, we launched a Pride campaign for Pride Month in June, and our son John created these really cool succulent designs. The Pride shirt has a little DFS logo in there. And then, we've just got all kinds of really cute swag that we're offering at the shop, and 50% of the proceeds goes to Equality California. So I just like to thank you for your enthusiasm and support. It's been so much fun working with you and seeing what you've all been buying and the photos that you've sent me in your swag. And yeah, so just wanted to thank you all for always being so supportive of the things that are near and dear to my heart. So thanks. And I'm feeling all the feels today because it is the middle of June, and the weather here in Chula Vista has been, we've had our days, it's been hot, but it's weird, normally now we get a little marine layer in the morning and then it blows off and it's hot, but it's kind of cool, a little bit humid, it's kind of cloudy, and the plants are eating it up. So yesterday, it was also a little humid, but by late afternoon it got kind of hot. So I came out in the early evening last night and I gently watered all of my plants, anticipating that the temperatures would cool off overnight, the plants would relax, be able to intake the little bit of water I had provided, and, have their nourishment and be ready to face what I assumed would be a hot day today. Didn't happen, but still, as you can see, everything thriving. So first of all, Crassula platyphylla, one of my favorites. This is getting ready to bloom. This is such a fun little plant, and this one I have been a little generous with the water. When it's stressed, it turns a deep, deep blood red, but it's still quite green. This plant also comes in another variety that is pink, and that one is over here. Both get this really cute little flower on it. Look at the flower on this Echeveria. I don't know what variety, but oh my gosh, so pretty. And look, guys, even the string of pearls is string of pearling. Look at how pretty. Also fat and plump. So, I have been watering this a little more than I normally would. So 6 of one, half dozen of another. I'm maybe not getting all the color I would like in some of my plants from stress and lack of water, but the string of pearls is happy as a clam. This Euphorbia that Hannah left in her bathroom in Oceanside is really coming out of it. Look how pretty. It's even thrown off some new growth at the base. I have been very, very careful not to water this heavily. It's really loving its shady corner here, and I am so excited for you guys to see how this plant is going to mature. My Euphorbia snowflake is also kind of reaching for the sun back here in this corner location. So I'm going to manipulate this pot a quarter of a turn. I don't want it to grow that way. I want it to grow straight. So every once in a while, I'll quarter turn it to confuse the heck out of the plant, in the hopes that it sucks it up and starts growing vertical the way I want it to. This millii with the whale's tail has defied all expectations. This was in the ground. I put it in a pot about a year ago or so. And look at that. It's not even a very big pot. But how happy is this plant here in this corner? Sometimes it really is all about the location. This Euphorbia trigona rubra also, it's just a plant that I love, and I didn't have one. So I bought one, put it in this, somewhat shady corner, and it does get afternoon sun here, but this is also just happy, happy pot plant. I don't know about this pink jasmine. Will she or won't she? Will I get a trellis and start training it over it? Will I not get a trellis? You tell me. But I'm losing patience because this is a hot mess. I don't like this. So next Walkabout Wednesday, I don't know. You may not see a pink jasmine. I mean, this is prime real estate. In this pot could be a gorgeous succulent or cactus. So I don't know. My what? Oh, Greg has an opinion. Flamingos. Oh, my flamingos. Yes, I did some repotting back here and moved some things around, did some cleaning up. And my beautiful plastic pink flamingos from Lowe's that I bought these to put in a client's garden at a grand reveals, kind of just like a little joke. And I fell in love with them. And they're fading and fabulous. They stay. My Pilosoceras azuris, again, pride and joy, just continues to reach for the sky. Not a mark on it. This is such a beautiful, well-behaved plant. You know, everything is just looking spectacular. Greg's little gnarly Codex-y thingy doodle is also, looky there, Greg. It's starting to leaf out for the summer. This dumb little thing drops all of its leaves in the winter, and when I water it in the spring, it starts to leaf out. And so hopefully this thing will continue to grow its Codex, because that's what it's grown for, and its cute little legs and whatnot. But that is a work in progress. That has a long way to go. Hi, Bentley the succulent dog. How are you? Hi, buddy. How's it going? Say hi to your fans. Say hi to Ginger. Bentley has started an online romance with a Rottweiler named Ginger. Thank you very much. Look good. Look good. Yeah, I love you. Okay. This pot with the bougainvillea in it. Oh my gosh. I fertilized the bougainvillea before we left for the ranch at the 1st of March. So it's been a couple months. And I always tell you, don't fertilize your succulents. They don't need it. Or at least I don't, ever fertilize mine. But if you want them to grow, you might want to rethink my advice, because look at that. That's nuts. That's the only explanation I have for all of this growth in this pot. What else? Oh, yes, the rat's nest. I went to town cleaning all the dead wood out of this honeysuckle. Remember, we told you we literally saw a rat in here. And as I was yanking and pulling out the dead wood, I unearthed the nest, which was empty. So I haven't seen, it looks much better. I haven't seen any more dieback, and I think the rat has moved on. So that's good, because, yeah, I didn't love that. The Pachypodium gayi is gayi-eyeing its head off. Look at my 2 branches and all of those fabulous leaves. Happy, happy, happy plant. And back here in the corner, I planted some more Pilosoceras. These were project leftovers. I'm very excited about that over there by my Talavera. And there's also a little Agave Victoria Reginae. I don't know what exactly that's going to do. We'll see. It's still awfully young. I experienced a love-hate situation with the Brugmansia last night, as I spent a half an hour removing 3.5 buckets of spent flowers. But it really, really is pretty when it blooms, isn't it? Okay, so over here around the pond, it's starting to show the season, in that I'm starting to see some stress. Some plants are starting to go dormant and get smaller. It's exposing dirt. This little, look at this little Fred Ives here that I planted as a cutting, that's sunburn. And then see it is though trying to root right there. That's rot. Rot and root. Make up your mind, plant. So I'm going to cut that little bit of rot off. There we go. And pop that back down here so that hopefully the roots will have a chance to do something before it gets too hot and I lose the whole plant. Everything else in here looks semi-okay. I just need to fluff it up and fill in with more plant material. But I may hold off on that, you know, until the fall, because it's just going to get hotter. And right now, my life's ambition is just basically pulling weeds. I had a fantastic time on a virtual consultation with a client from Florida a couple of days ago. And honestly, folks, if you'd like some one-on-one time with me where we can just talk about you and your garden and your succulents and your life or whatever the heck you want to talk about, I am here for you. I'm here for you and I'm here for that. Virtual consultations are so much fun. Just email me at designforserenity@yahoo.com or go to the website at designforserenity.com and fill out a submission form and we'll hook you up. But we talked a lot about my garden too. She wanted to talk about it. She loves Walkabout Wednesdays, and she said I never talk about the Victoria Regionae compacta that I have next to the Talavera mushroom. And I don't know why I don't. It's one of my absolute favorite plants in my garden. It's moved a number of times. I've had it in different places. It is extremely tough. It is monocarpic. It's an agave, so after it blooms, it dies. This particular variety does not pup. So, you know, I have found that if the plant is put in a spot where it's not going to receive an inordinate amount of stress, it may delay that bloom, that death bloom cycle. So I've got her nestled in there amongst some companions where she gets a little protection, and I am absolutely hoping for the best. Here's a Fred Ives that, as you can see the flowers are pretty much gone, right? There's not much happening here anymore. So now's a really good time to remove those spent blooms, because they do attract aphids and other bugs. And now I have thrown the energy back to the mother, so she doesn't have to put out so much in order to stay alive and looking good. So this also does help the mother plant look better and live longer if you remove the blooms after they've passed away. Oh dear, disaster is struck. I've been looking at this for a couple of days because I wanted to share it with you guys. My Aloe brevifolia. Yeah, whoops. That, for those of you that are uninitiated into the succulent club, that's rot. That got too much water at some point. You know, I don't know exactly when I overwatered it, and that can be confusing with rot, because you can have rot set in and not know it on your succulents for literally weeks. Then it just does that. Literally did this overnight, you guys. Just went. So as I remove all of this grossness, let's see what we're left with. You know, and you can tell the ground is wet. I mean, it's not really difficult to figure out what's happened. But you know what? Lo and behold, it's not a total loss. Look at this part of the plant is still very much alive. Well, what do you know about that? You also need to clean up these spent blooms or spent underleaves for my Fred Ives. Oh my gosh, I could stay in this 1 square foot space all day long and probably not finish, right? It never ends. But look at that. Okay, so this is very rewarding, by the way. Pulling all the dead crap out and exposing what is still very much viable. And yes, it is quite wet here, so I will be very careful not to water over here. I had actually pulled this aloe from another part of the garden, thinking that I would stick it in the place of this brevifolia that died, that rotted. And you know what? I think I still will, because I just can't with this. See, this little piece is still viable too. It's got one little root. But it's not squishy or rotten on its up here. You know, it's kind of a 50-50. Oh, look, there's some roots trying to form right here too. So this one's really making an effort. So I'm just going to take my handy dandy little multi-tool loosen up the soil, and stick that thing back in and give it a chance to survive and do its thing. On this aloe, I'm not going to dig a hole that deep. Sorry about it. So I'm going to cut this stem or trunk. Now, you can put this plant, this cutting, in the garage and wait a week or so for this cut to harden off. Or you can just take your chances and stick the plant directly in the soil. Now, I know I just told you that this is a little bit wet, but let's remember where I live. I am in Southern California, and it probably will not rain here again until maybe December. So I can control how wet or dry my soil stays. And I've already suggested that I will not be watering over here anytime soon. So I can go ahead and let this harden off right in the ground. You know what? And as I dig down deeper, it gets drier and drier too. I think most of that water was very superficial. So I'm just going to pop the plant right in there. Push the soil back around. If your succulent stands up, you've done your job. Okay, how's that look? Ooh, wow. Better than anticipated. I love the way that looks right there. I'm not sure what variety of aloe this is. It's a little hybrid of some kind. I have quite a few of them around in the garden. They're just one-offy, leftover kind of plants. So I think probably what's going to happen, if it doesn't rot, is this guy is going to start to turn, if I'm not mistaken, orange. So we'll keep you posted. Not the same as the Cynthia Giddy here, the Aloe Dorothiae. These are similar, but not the same. So we'll see. I do not know. So this area over here, while I'm right here, oh my gosh, the weeds are just like never ending. Am I wrong? Ugh. God. I'm digressing. I know. Stop weeding. Okay, so this little Lucier, this paddle plant, fantastic, has defied all my expectations. Usually the snails get this plant before I get a chance to really enjoy it. This paddle plant, Variegated, has been in the garden for quite a while. I want to say since pandemic, since lockdown last year. And it hasn't, for whatever reason, the snails have left it alone. I mean, it gets pretty hot right here too. Really, it looks good. A little bit of burnt on the tips. Nothing serious. It's right next to my Mexican snowballs, which are looking really good. And you know, this is the time of the year where you're going to get a lot of dead underleaves on your plants as they start to throw off new growth from the center. Don't worry about that. Just groom them up, clean them up. No fuss, no muss. Also, look at this, Greg. This is Dudleya bretonii. This is probably one of the very first plants I ever put in this garden over a decade ago. It's a native of Southern California. It's dormant in the summer. I mean, it just always looks so absolutely stunning, doesn't it? She has just been a winner of all winners. And now that this cotyledon has grown so much, I don't even see her unless I'm down here working on another plant. Okay, next disaster to share with you. I screwed up. Okay, so I was invited over to a friend's house just for a little visit, and I wanted to take a little gift, right? So remember that little Susan-Ock pot that I put the little Echeveria in, and I stuck it down here next to the little gal I got in Bali. So I thought, oh, that would be nice to give Gordon. And I pulled it out, and it was covered. All the blooms were covered in aphids. It's kind of shady down here, not a lot of good air circulation. So I went inside and I got some dish soap and I poured dish soap on it to kill the aphids. Left it sitting here where it gets a lot more sun, and voila, I came out the next day, and as you can see, I got rid of the aphids, right? Didn't I do a beautiful job of getting rid of the aphids and killing the plant? Look at how it fried it. I feel so bad about this. So yeah, I should have not put straight dish detergent on the plant. One, I should have diluted it at least 10 to 1 and then just misted it. And I shouldn't have left it exposed in the sun. I should have moved the plant to the shade. I should have also rinsed off the dish soap with water since I didn't dilute it. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. So I just wanted to share that with you in case that has ever happened to you. Don't feel bad. I will figure out something else for this pot. May she rest in peace. Okay, what else? As you can see, the roses are about done with their spring flush. They were stunning this year. And they'll continue to bloom intermittently throughout the summer. I fertilize these with a 3-in-1 liquid systemic 4 times a year. That's it. And they stay beautiful without much intervention at all, just some pruning. My agave variegata, that is my pride and joy, just threw off a brand new leaf. And I'm a little concerned, you know, you all remember last year when I dug it up and cut it off and reset it because it was pointing the wrong way. And I was concerned. I'd also cut off about 6 decent pups, which I gave away. All but one I kept. She's not throwing off any more pups, so fingers crossed she does, because at some point this girl's going to bloom, and I really want to get a beautiful baby from her before she does. The fountain, the idea was to plant tougher things in it so that I didn't have to bring the beach umbrella out here every summer. I also cut back all the tender things like the string of pearls and the calico kittens. And that seems to be working. I put in Morganianum, the sedum. It looks a little yellow, but remember those did go in as cuttings. So, you know, I've been thinking a lot about maybe doing a little fertilizing of my own. So maybe I will throw a little fertilizer, not directly on the leaves, but maybe I will water it in. I'll let you know if I do. But it's funny, if you look back here, Greg, how much better and fuller the plants are on this side, naturally, right? The back that you don't see unless you walk behind it, because this gets more shade. So these tomentosas and the fret ives and the agave starry nights and the sedums, everything is just so happy. Look, even a little string of pearls made a comeback here, and it's looking pretty good. I love puttering with my bird bath, with my fountain. So we talked about how this wisteria this year has grown over the fountain, which has just been a miracle of Mother Nature, and I'm just so grateful because she's providing that umbrella that I used to provide every summer. But this one looks a lot better than the faded one that I have in the garage. I have been watering the lemon tree more because, you know, I've been faithful about fertilizing it organically, you know, following the package directions, fertilizing it seasonally. You know, I just up-potted this a couple of years ago. I've done everything that I needed to do, but it occurred to me, you know, it's not really producing a lot of fruit. It set a ton of bud, and then I got, what do I have? This. I have a lemon. One little Meyer improved right there. I think that's the only lemon that I have on this tree. So I have taken to watering it about twice as often as I used to, and we'll see if that doesn't make some kind of a difference. I absolutely adore the shape of this tree. I love lemons. I mean, we drink lemon water daily, so I wanted to make it. Thank you too, also everyone, for your advice on things that I can try with the lemon tree. Here's the baby from the Attenuata variegate. And it's nice. I mean, it's not ugly by any stretch, but she's not as gorgeous as her mom, huh? So, you know, worst case scenario, maybe this one throws off some better looking pups. I don't know. But at least I've got some progeny from her. This raised bed is looking spectacular. I spent the most rewarding hour this morning just picking little dead leaves off of my Aeonium crest. Remember, Aeoniums are summer dormant. So this is going to happen to your Aeonium sunburst, or if you have a crest. I live in a place where I'm not worried about this plant, no matter what or how warm it gets, I think it's going to be just fine. If I ever do have any concerns, if we're getting into triple digits or something, I can always throw some screening over it or some shade cloth. I could break out the faded umbrella from the garage, because this really is a very, very special plant and I don't want to lose it. But so far it's just doing what it does normally. Oh, here's something we can do with the South African Falcata, Crassula Falcata, the propeller plant. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not loving this. It's flopping, it's run-a-mucky, it's just not cute anymore. I like this. I like that part. That looks really neat. Not feeling that. So what I'm going to do, brace yourselves, right, everybody? I'm going to cut it. Okay. Then I'm going to take out this part. Do I have to take this out? I don't. But for the sake of aesthetics, I'm going to take this out. And I'm going to put it down here in my new garden of death, where plants go to live or die, but it's up to them. I'll stick that in the ground, and it will regenerate some pretty new growth. It's over here with all of my little stem and leaf props that I've been working on for the last couple of months. Got some decent leaf props here too, but you can see that they're starting to fry. I think I may need to push these into some deeper shade.
Stick them underneath the...
Yeah, I'm going to move them here underneath a little bit more to get a little more protection.
Got room under here.
Yeah. And this lovely piece of Falcata, I'm going to put back. Where'd I take that out?
Right here.
It's right here? Okay. Okay. Just stick that back. There we go.
It's not standing. There it goes.
Oh, is it standing up? Because I've got that.
Not standing up.
Oh dear, I have not done my job. Yeah, gosh dang it. Okay. Move, rocks. See, I have this branch right here too. So I don't know if this is the spot. Are you sure it didn't come from like right here?
Yep.
Well, it's going here because I don't have room right there now. Okay, so I'm going to dig out a little loamy soil, stand her up, and there you have it. It's a much more, to me, a much more attractive plant. This is the Cameronii that we have taken out and cut the roots off of dozens of times because I want to maintain the small size and I also want to keep it red. So let's check and see how it's doing. Oh boy, I think it's time to trim again. Yep. Okay, so look at how it has reestablished a lot of roots. And in this particular presentation, in this raised bed, I don't want it to grow and get bigger. I just want it to stay little and cute and red. So I'm going to trim that up. And reset it. Ooh, and look at my Agavoides ebony. Isn't that stunning? Oh, look at that plant. Okay, so put the little Cameronii back here next to our little Falcata cutting. Excellent, much better. I like it better low profile. And in, this kind of arrangement, anything that starts to get to looking a little leggy, or that I want to be smaller, that's all I have to do is dig it out, cut it off, and reset it. Just remember, depending on where you live, to be sensitive about not doing this at times of the year that are particularly harsh in terms of weather. Be prepared to provide protection from elements if needed. So these gutters are looking amazing. The gutter gardens, this has been like the greatest idea. These gutters have just been housing all of my leftover cuttings for years. And it's, when I get, so many spider webs, when I get a new, batch of cuttings, or if I have a half, used plant project left over, just pop it into the gutters and look how fabulous it is. And you can also spend days out here just trimming spent blooms, checking for aphids or mealybug. That looks good. Everything looks fine. Oh my gosh, even the little string of pearls is still hanging in there. And yeah, it's just the most gratifying thing in the world to work on your gutters, because it really doesn't take much to make them look really, really good. This is my new Garden of Death, which I clearly have to rename, because you know what? I popped these things in just because I felt sorry for them. They were in cans and had been in cans for so long, or some of them have been cuttings that had just been laying in the yard for months. And this was supposed to be temporary because I was going to do this fancy. Well, first I told you I was going to do a tapestry here. And then I'm like, no, I don't want to really do a tapestry. What about a cactus garden? Do some dedicated cactus. Then, you know, I had the Titanota, the Perii, the Tangerine, the Reginae, I've got a Plicatillus, I've got the Mystery Aloe, the tall Mystery Aloe there, I got a Blue Glow, I got another Mystery Aloe in that pot, and I had some leftover rocks and some dirt, so I just planted everything to give things an opportunity to kind of stretch their legs. And I'm not hating this. Granted, I need to top dress if I'm going to stick with this, but I think I am. So, you know, next Walkabout Wednesday, this may just have a beautiful layer of top dressing and maybe some rubble or, you know, some other type of rock complementing it. I'm really loving the look of this area. So that's about all I got for you for today. Here's some string of pearls that don't look too great. I'm going to pull those. There's absolutely nothing going on in the front. Trust me. So we'll just keep our Walkabout Wednesday to the back. And it's been really fun visiting with you, sharing with you. Thank you all who have DM'd me on Laura Loves Succulents on Instagram and shown me your work. You're amazing. Your talent is through the roof, and it makes me feel so proud to think that I offered any kind of inspiration. So please keep DMing me with your creations on Laura Loves Succulents on Instagram. Thank you so much for subscribing to the video, for joining the channel, supporting me financially in my work. That goes without saying, is greatly appreciated. And of course, for standing by me with these fantastic campaigns to support causes that are near and dear to my heart. Thank you all. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day and Walkabout Wednesday. Bye, guys.